We're really excited for you to own the market and use the tools that you already have to make more of a profit for back to school. So we have a lineup of DTG face mask, how to print on a t-shirt using DTG, as well as blanket printing, metal printing on die sublimation, side printing on your DTG printer, and shoe printing on your DTG printer. There's a list of things that we want to take you through application based, and so here we go. First up, you're going to see and learn how to print on a face mask using your Surecolor EPSON F2100. Hey guys, it's Mylaya here at IT Supplies, and today I'm going to show you from start to finish how to install your Captain Platen face mask platen and how to actually print on it. So we're going to start off now. First, you want to make sure that you have your setup, your adapter, the platen, and we're also going to have to take off a screw from our machine. So using a screwdriver, I'm going to take off this one little screw on this side. Came right out for me. Put it in a safe place, don't want to lose it. So I'm going to put mine here, that there. And I'm going to wiggle, untighten this here. Completely off. We're going to set up the adapter, which has our platen on it already, to fit right in place. I'm going to move that right back up so we can print nice and pretty there. So now that we have the adapter on, I'm going to use the setup station. You're going to need a table, and I'm going to do mine next to my heat press table. So I'm going to sit it here, and this is just going to hold it in place for me. So once I get it on, go ahead and screw it tight. All right, mine is secure on there. Now, whenever we print on a black mask, we do need to go ahead and make sure that we pre-treat it. So I'm going to set up my mask right now. I'm going to lay that mask there. We're going to put the actual platen on here. Now, while we have a full pre-treat machine, we're going to use a 4-inch roller and tray in order to pre-treat the mask because they're so small you don't want to waste pre-treat solution. So first what I'm going to do is I am going to pre-press my mask, make sure that it's flat, they don't have any wrinkles in it, so that way all of our fibers are laying down for us. And I'm only going to do it for about 5 seconds just to make sure that it's all laid down. All right. Now I have a flat mask. Using my tucker, I'm going to tuck the first part in, and then I'm going to use my tucker to get my second part in over here. Tuck it in nice and tight, just like that. And now I'm going to pre-treat using the roller. You want to go in one direction only, guys. One direction only. All right. Now I am ready to heat press, but I'm going to use a silicone parchment paper to ensure that I don't mess up my heat press because pre-treat is sticky, guys, especially when heated. So I actually just lay it down here, make sure that it's flat, and I just fold this baby in half so that I'm not using extra resources. We're going to hit that for 60 seconds, and then we're going to go over to our computer so you can see what settings I'm setting up in order to accomplish this look. So now that I've cured my mask, I am at the computer inside of Garment Creator, and I am using Gildan Black. You can use a dark color standard t-shirt. We just have some presets that are already in here and set up for us. That's all that means, that we name them for ourselves. So I'm gonna hit dark color t-shirt standard, and then I'm gonna go over to my layout settings. I want to be on my extra small platen. It's a 7x8, just to make sure that we are getting all the coverage that we need. Now I'm gonna go over to File, Open, and we are gonna use our IT Supplies values. We have some values here at IT Supplies, guys. So in order to make sure that I got this right, I am looking at these blue dots because I'm centered here. I'm gonna go down to 5, so each square is an inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I need to go down one more to get myself there. All right, and I'm centered, and I'm also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down from the bottom. So I know I'm right in the middle of my print area that I need. Next, I am going to go to my settings. I have it on a level 3. I think I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to a level 4 just because I'm using a lot of white here, and I want it to be vibrant because there's some grays and whites that are going to do some shadowing there. So I have it level 4, my double strike for my white to make it nice and vibrant. And I'm just going to hit print here, and I am ready to go and set up my mask to start printing now. Now I have a pre-treated mask. I'm going to tuck here and then flip it over. Make sure that you're getting the space. You should be able to see where you pre-treated a little bit. And then I'm going to tuck on the other side as well. So it's fairly easy. So just make sure that everything is laying flat. And you can start off here. I'm going to remove my platen, and I'm going to install it right on the adapter here. Locked into place. Everything is smooth, laid down. I am on level 2 here. You can do 2.5 if you feel like your mask is a little bit thicker. And I am ready to press print. We are using the LAT Adult 100% Cotton 2-ply face masks from S&S Activewear. And we are printing now. Now that my mask is done, I'm gonna go and heat press it. Lay it flat. Again, 340 for 60 seconds with light pressure. And here we're using the Stahl's Hottronics Fusion. It's a 16x20 press, which is really good because you can gang up a lot of your masks if you want to do multiple at one time. Placement is all your preference. You can print higher, lower, it's all up to you. But now I have an IT Supplies mask. Next, you're gonna see how to print on a t-shirt using the EPSON Surecolor F2100, the Hottronics Fusion IQ, as well as the Lawson AE Zoom pre-treater. Hey, I'm Mylaya with IT Supplies, and today we're gonna go over a quick video on how to do a t-shirt using the Surecolor EPSON F2100. Now, when we take our t-shirts out, typically they're folded and they're coming out of a box. Normally what happens is that we're pulling up fibers when we pull our t-shirts apart. So what we're gonna do first is lay down our fibers. You wanna make sure that you get all of the wrinkles out of this garment because you do not wanna mess up any of your image quality. So we're gonna lay it flat and we're gonna take a silicone parchment sheet just to protect our heat press and protect our shirt to make sure there's nothing that goes onto this shirt from the previous shirts. We're gonna do it at 330 degrees for about 5 seconds just to make sure that all of our fibers are laid down. We're gonna save our silicone parchment sheet for later. But next, what we're gonna do is learn how to pre-treat. So first we're gonna dress the platen so that we're able to pre-treat. You're gonna put the head of the shirt facing you and we're gonna tuck all the way around. We're then going to close the pre-treat drawer and we're going to spray. As you can see, the nozzle comes up, sprays, and now we're down. A fully contained system. Since we finished pre-treating, now here's a little trick to get the pre-treated shirt onto the heat press. You're gonna turn your body just a little bit so that your arms are turned, and now the pre-treated shirt is facing you. Now we're able to dress it. We're gonna make sure that we don't have the seams on there, and now it looks pretty. No wrinkles, no seams. We're gonna reuse that same silicone parchment sheet that we used earlier. And now we're at 330 degrees for 45 seconds. Now we have a fully cured garment. We're not going to use this silicone parchment paper again, just because if we continue to, we'll start getting waves inside of it, and we don't want that to transfer over to our shirts. Now we are ready to dress our shirt onto the platen. This is the time we get to print. So now what we're going to do is, now that I've laid it on there, we have 2 arrows on this printer located here and here in order to ensure that your tag is right on there. Now, I don't necessarily dress the actual platen because I shoot it, but you're more than welcome. The ink is not going to go through the garment. It's going to sit pretty on top, and I'll even show you after. Now that we have our garment loaded, ready to start to print, we need to go over to the computer screen where we've brought in our image and we have selected the mode that we want to print in. So, as you can see, we've selected level 4. We have our reduced white area to make sure that we don't have any white ink sticking out on the sides of our image once we begin the print. And now we are ready to print. So now the printer is going to connect to the computer and it's going to talk to tell it to go ahead and print. And now we're ready to print. It's going to take a few seconds for the printer to get itself settled and then the shirt to be taken in. Now we have a fully printed, full color, beautiful, stunning image, and we're ready to cure our ink now. Now we're going to lay our shirt right on top of the heat press here. We're going to get another new silicone parchment paper, again to protect our heat press and our image. Lay it flat. For each layer of ink that has been laid down, white base and a color base has now been laid down. We're going to do 30 seconds worth of heating for each level. So we're going to cure at 330 degrees for 60 seconds. One. And now you have a fully done t-shirt. All right, guys, now we're going to switch it up and we're going to go into some dye sublimation. So first we're going to see how to print a blanket on the EPSON dye sub printers. I'm Mylaya here at IT Supplies, and today I'm going to show you how to make a blanket using the EPSON Surecolor F9470H. So first I come over to Epson Edge and I bring my image in as such. I then want to go over to my basic settings so I can choose my media size roll. I am using a 64-inch roll just because my image and my blanket are really large. So I want to make sure that I have enough space on there. I am using 80-gram paper, and that's going to be for fabric material because we're doing a blanket. And I have it on a pretty high quality setting. So 720 by 720 DPI is a great way to start. Then you want to go over to your layout. Because of how large the blanket is, we want to ensure that we have at least 2 inches on each side just to accommodate the size of the blanket and making sure that we're getting edge to edge. So that's the reason why we have it so big here, a 62 by 52. Now, we want to make sure that our image is mirrored and that check mark is on, just to make sure that when it comes out and we lay it down, it looks just the same on screen as it does on our blanket. Now, because we're not doing any special color settings or color replacements or any type of tiling as well, we're actually ready to print, and you can press print, which will rip and print the job at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and send that over. Now I have a printed image, a blank blanket, and on our Practice OK 10 CP, I have tissue paper on top and some butch paper on the bottom just to protect our belt and to protect our actual blanket here. So I'm going to set this up and then I'm going to grab our image real fast. Now I've set up my image and my blanket, and as you can see, it's now feeding. You'll be able to see the finished product soon. And there you have it, a finished product, a pretty horse blanket in the meadows. So just remember, when you are making a blanket as such, you want to make sure that you have parchment paper, some butch paper to protect your heat press, a blank, as well as your heat settings being at 400 degrees for 60 seconds. And you'll have the perfect product. Now that you've learned how to print on a blanket, we're going to get some hard substrates in there, and we're going to start learning how to print on metals as well. I'm Mylaya here at IT Supplies, and today we're going to be showing you how to print on a metal panel using the EPSON Surecolor F6370. So the first thing we need to do is set up our job. Using EPSON Edge, we're going to go to File, Add Job List. We're going to choose this pretty little image here, open it up. It's going to take some time to actually add the file on here now. So just take a minute. Clicking my image, I'm going to go over to media size. We're going to use a 44-inch roll. Because we're not doing fabric, we're going to go to the thickness of a rigid material. And because we're printing on the metal, we're just going to go high quality, just to show you what this printer can do. As a resolution, we're going to go 720 by 720 DPI. And now we're going to go to our basic layout. Because we're doing an 8 by 10, we're going to go ahead and make this a little bit smaller. So now it's going to be a 13 by 8, and I can center my metal perfectly on there. I have my image mirrored. Now we're ready to go ahead and rip our job and print. So we're going to click print, and it's going to rip and print for us at the same time. Now we're going to go right back over to the F6370. The printer is now printing the image for us, and once it's done, it's going to cut it for us, and then we will apply the metal and the heat. And here it is. Now it's time to prep our metal. Now we're ready to prep. I'm going to use my little pizza slicer here to cut my paper. So now I have a nice clean sheet. Take my metal. It has a protective coat over it. So I'm going to use my nails. Be very careful because you don't want to chip the metal. To pull back the film. Now we're going to line it up. So we made this image a little bit bigger just because I wanted some different pops of color for you guys to see. Now that I have it lined up the way that I want it, because I have what I want in the image, I am now going to take my heat tape, which is heat resistant, so that I can heat it at 400 degrees. And I'm going to cut this to put on the sides of my metal to hold it down properly for when I transport it over to our heat press. This is going to prevent any ghosting that we're going to run into if the heat press lifts up. So now I'm sturdy on there. Now we're ready to heat set our Chromalex panel. We're going to use a silicone parchment paper to protect our heat press as well as to protect our print. So I'm actually going to fold this in half so I can get the most use out of it. So I'm going to lay that down. We're going to get our metal. It's going to face up. So you want the paper up, the metal on the bottom. And I'm going to fold this over. We have our heat press settings at 400 degrees for 60 seconds. Medium pressure. We're working on the stalled Hotronic press. And our 60 seconds is almost up. Now, you want to be careful not to burn yourself. Gonna lift straight up here and make sure we have no ghosting. And now I've successfully moved the paper. And just to give you a little shot of what this looks like now, I'm using the edge of my tape to show this. And here's your finished product. All right, now we're going to go back to our DTG printer and we're going to learn how to print using the side prints. And it's going to be just a custom thing that you're able to use Garment Creator and just type in some stuff instead of having a full design from start to finish. Hey guys, Mylaya here at IT Supplies, and today I'm going to show you how to print on the Lawson side print platen. It's a 13 by 21 platen, and we're going to print on the side of a shirt. I already have my image set up. I'm going to go ahead and put my platen in. You just lean on the side of it and press down. Unlike what I just did, you have to stand in front of it and press down all the way. I have my height on level 3, and I already have my pre-treated garment so I can print on the side of my platen. So I'm going to go ahead and dress my platen so that I have it all ready to go for you. It's very easy to do. I get as close to the side of this shirt as possible, but placement is all a preference. You can place it on this side of the garment, this side of the garment. It's completely up to you. But do remember, whichever side you do decide to print on, make sure that you line it up perfectly on your computer. So I have mine all lined up. I just want to make sure that I don't have any rippling effects inside of my garment. All right, so I'm going ahead and press print, and we are good to go. So on Garment Creator, what I did was I went in and I just used one of the text tools that Garment Creator does have. You can do this easily in Corel Draw, Adobe Illustrator, any of those things, or Photoshop that you use. This is more so for someone who's kind of a startup, who doesn't really have a lot of design skills, and it's quick and fast, an easy way to show something to a customer so they can have an idea of what they're looking at. So remember when I told you that this platen is a side print platen, and so it's a 13 by 21. So that's 13 inches wide, 21 long. When you go inside of Garment Creator, you want to be sure that you use your 16 by 20 platen, because that's the highest that it goes up to. And then also consider that you're going to be taking off 3 inches. So inside of Garment Creator, what I did was, from my center point, I went 6 boxes over and started my design there, so that way to ensure that I'm not hanging off of the actual platen when it starts to print. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're designing, when you're laying out inside a Garment Creator, so that way when you print, you're not messing up a garment. This garment is almost finished. All I did was add an image, a photo from the background, and I just put all my letters in a line and put some various colors on there, so that way you guys can see some different colors that Garment Creator can actually hit for you. This image is almost done and ready to go. Now I'm ready to press my shirt, secure this ink, lay this here so I can grab it later. And now, because I know for a fact that the ink isn't going to go through the shirt, I'm going to lay it right on top so that I know I'm not going to mess up the garment. Get it as close to the bottom so that everything can cure as easy. Again, where you position your image is completely up to you. You have full control over what sides you want it to be on, how creative you want to be. You want to be on 340 degrees for 60 seconds, and light pressure, guys. So we're using the Stahl Hydronics Fusion IQ here, and this is what we use. So we're almost done with this too. And just like that, I have a side printed garment that is ready to wear. Wouldn't it be cool if you had an entire outfit that was coordinated? So we're going to learn how to print on some Converse gym shoes. We've now seen how to print on a face mask. So now I'm going to have matching shoes and mask set. I'm Mylaya here at IT Supplies, and today I'm really excited to show you how to print on Converse gym shoes. So there's going to be a couple things that you need to already have yourself prepared. Make sure that you have the double shoe platen, blue painter's tape, and you have some sort of a heat gun in order to heat set your image after it is done being printed. So first things first, we're going to head over to the computer so we can see how this thing is set up and get it going. Let's go. So here at Garment Creator, what you see is that I've brought in 2 separate images. On your design software, whatever you decide to use, whether it's Adobe Illustrator or Corel Draw, or even Photoshop, what you have to remember is that if you don't have any of those types of things, or you don't know how to make a template, which is what most people do, this is a shortcut so that you don't have to make a template, but a template is highly suggested, okay? So what I did was I just opened one file and I put in one of my images. The way that I got 2 in there is that I actually went over to my third over. It is to enter text. And then I went over to the multiple image tab. So when you do that, that will allow you to go ahead and bring in that extra image. So I have my 2 images in there. And as you notice, they are marked. if you are facing your computer the same way that I am when it comes to your printer and it's like right next to it, what you want to remember is that this does not line up with what you see right next to you. So if I'm standing in front of the printer, this is my right shoe, this is my left shoe. And it looks like it's backwards, but when it's printed, it's going to print the right direction. So you just have to make sure that your stuff is lined up here. If you have logos and things of that nature, you can't just easily mirror it or your words will be backwards. So just keep that in mind. I've messed up plenty times. So I actually have these images in here, and just so you can see the sizes here, I have my height as 8.94 and my width as 4.16 to make sure that I can get top to bottom. And then also I am on a 14 by 16 platen. That is not how big the shoe platen is. So as you can see, what I did was I am 1, 2, and then I am 3.5 away from the edge, because this will be the edge of my shoe. And I am the same on this side as well. And then from the center, which is this dark gray line, I am 1, 2, 3 out. So I am on the line between the 3 and the 4, and I am still the same amount of distance away. You also want to line up your bottom, your top to bottoms as well. So I actually went from the bottom to the top and went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I am right on that line between 7 and 8. So just to kind of give you a heads up, this is what you're going to be working with as your print area. You are going to print a little bit more because of the actual shape of the shoe, but this is your shortcut to be able to just go and print. You always want to make sure that you are checking your in between, your sides, and your top and bottoms, okay guys? Because this is going to set you up for success. So what I did was, we're going to press OK here, and it's going to show it this way for you. When you go to print settings, I actually went to level 4 because there's no ink, no white ink underneath my image. So this is where I'm starting. I want to double up on it to make it a bold color. I don't change any of these things. You can if you would like, but this is what's going to get you successful. So light color t-shirt standard, level 4, and then all of my print settings are together. So I'm going to just go ahead, hit print here, and we're going to head back over to the printer. Okay guys, so before we even get our shoes onto the platen the way that you see them now, they do start here. So you do have to take out all of the shoestrings so that way you don't get any ink on them. I'm going to take these out quickly, show you how I tape to make sure that I don't get ink on any of the other places, because I have learned that it does not come out easy. So using my blue painter's tape, just because I know it's safe and easy to take off, you're going to rip a few things, but on the inside of the shoe here, I put a small piece of tape so that way when it's printing, it doesn't print through the holes. You don't want it to go through the holes because then it's going to go on the other side of your shoe. So you're going to put tape there. You're going to finish it around to the other side, to the rest of the holes. But just for time's sake, I'm just going to show you some other small tips since we already have a finished one there. When you do start taping, you want to put it right at the line, right at the red line, and I go inside of the crease here. I put my nail there to make sure that it's going up against the line, and then I fold that baby over. Just as such. And then one of the other places that I do tape for sure, to make sure I don't get any ink there, is the top of my shoe. So I actually just take it and I tape right across there. So we're taped. So you do want to make sure you continue all the way through. On my other garments of shoes, I have done that. And I also have taken a small piece of tape once I've loaded it on, taken a small piece of tape, I've just wrapped it into a little circle, and I put it right underneath this side and this side, and I'm going to do it right now just to kind of show you, to make sure that this is laying down flat and I can go ahead and print. So I just lay it down there. I make sure that this is one smooth surface, This is one smooth surface and push down. So I put the tape underneath here and right under here, okay? Now, we are ready to print. Now my shoes are done, so what do I do next? I now have to heat set them. So I'm gonna take the first one off and we're gonna go over to our heat set. I'm gonna lift that just a little and we're gonna go heat it now. All right, guys, so I have my shoe, I have the heat gun or a blow dryer, whichever you like to call it, but I have it on hot and I'm gonna put it on high and do each general direction for 60 seconds. So once I turn this on, all right, so you want to keep doing that until, depending on the strength of your heat gun or hair dryer that you decide to use, you just want to make sure that you're not getting any ink on your hands and you're good to go. After you do this, if you can see, what'll happen when you print is that there is going to be a little bit of ink inside of the metal. You can now wipe that out without wiping away or smudging your image on your shoe. So that is how you print on a Converse shoe. I am going to take away all of the tape. Back to school means that it's going to be fall time. It's going to be a little bit of chilly out there. So we're going to learn how to print on some hoodies as well that are lightweight, Bella canvas, and easy to make on your DTG printer. Hey guys, it's Mylaya here at IT Supplies, and today we're going to print on a nice hoodie. So this is a Bella canvas DTG fleece, 70% by 30%. So 70% cotton, 30% polyester hoodie. We're only gonna print on the top half, and then you'll see a video later about us printing on our pockets. But for this hoodie, I pre-treated it already, I heat pressed it, and now I am going to sleeve dress it on the platen here. So what you'll see is I am going to lower it a little bit and I'm going to put this in. My pocket is sitting up here, but it's not going to be an issue for us because we're only going to print within this print area. If you know that you're going to print inside of, you need a better print space to print in, you can use a smaller platen with a larger garment and you'll be fine. And I'll show you how to do that as well. So I am going to go ahead and place my hoop on here. I have my garments on a level 3 just because it's thicker and you want to be as close to the print as possible, but you don't want to be too close where the machine starts beeping at you, which we all know can be a little annoying. So now I'm going to go ahead and press start and we're going to talk a little bit more about the printer. So now what you're going to see is when we went in, we actually printed on a level 5 just because we do have a thicker garment that we're working with and it's not 100% cotton. So a lot of people ask the question, oh, if it's not 100% cotton, do I have to use my polyester pre-treat? No. Only time you're going to use the EPSON polyester pre-treat is on 100% polyester garments. This is a 70 by 30. We're safe because it has majority cotton in it. So this has been pre-treated really, really well. We bumped up our white density to make sure that we are going to have a bold, solid white that comes out here. because it is just a white and red image that we're making right now. Now we are ready to heat set our image, guys. Slide it off. I'm going to lay it right on top here. Everything is laying flat. One of my strings are inside my hoodie. I'm going to use a silicone parchment paper again to protect my heat press. Lay it right on top. And we're going to go for 60 seconds at 340 degrees using medium pressure and the Stahl's Hotronic heat press. Now I have a gray and white vibrant shirt, well, hoodie. Let's see how it looks, friends. Oh, 1 second, I forgot something. Now I'm styling.